Okay, folks, good morning. Now, I'm going to start off this morning with an experiment. First of all, here's the 6 Crusaders mostly built. Mostly, yeah. 3 are missing sand shields, and let's move these to the side. I've got one of these that I decided to do the photo etch stuff on it, which is probably the easiest photo etch. Well, the easiest photo etch I've ever taken. Tried to trim up easily, but I'm really concerned about the durability of these protectors of the front lights. So I'm going to pretend that I'm painting this, and I need to dry brush this area around here. I want to see how durable these little protectors are. And they're pretty durable. This, I'm not going to go any harder than that, and I'm not bending them out of shape. Okay, that's good. Then we're going to go ahead and add all the photo etch right now. That was great. I'm glad. I was concerned about that. I mean, if one breaks, but if they're all breaking, like I can't get any airbrush, I can't get them in there at all. That sort of thing. That's going to be an issue. All right, so first of all, I'm going to start adding the sand shields because I looked at photographic evidence, and I'd like for them to have a mix of sand shields and no sand shields, but by and large, I can't find any photos of them not having sand shields on. There's some that had the earlier Crusaders that had this different pattern of sand shield, almost like the A13, but that's a different animal. I'm talking about this style of sand shield. Are there some that are like, missing some sections, and I couldn't find any photographic evidence of that, just in a quick glance. So I'm going to put the sand shields on all of them except one, and I may end up adding it on there later, but we're going to do it all except one of them. So that one goes on that side. Make sure I have 2 different ones. Yep. Again, these are just attached to the sides here. I don't have any of the chassis glued down. They're totally removable. They're on there tightly, but when it comes to priming and so forth, it'll be a lot easier to handle doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the turret. This didn't take that long to build, but it did take close to an hour to build each one. It's just part of the thing. Yeah, these whoever decided to design these sand shields, they did a good job because I've seen knocked out vehicles, all kinds of stuff. These things broke down left and right, and the sand shields were still in place. And some of these had, there's some different modifications some of these had. But they were either earlier versions or they had like the solid wheels from like the ones like the A13 style. Those were all earlier versions of earlier, even more unreliable versions of this vehicle. I was reading something that the tracks will only last about 500 miles. Which point you need new tracks. And it's also an extremely abrasive, hostile environment. The desert. And I was also reading that during Operation Crusader, the little mini turret here, it wasn't even manned. They didn't even man this thing. They used it for extra storage. And they said they never needed it in battle. Well, no wonder they got rid of them. I think I was reading somewhere that somebody was using some other material to glue this that was an industrial material. Like, yeah, I don't use plastic cement, I use acetone or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of that. And I'm like, I can see cutting some corners on some things, but Using something else as your model glue just doesn't seem to be a good idea. Good morning. I see this is a number 6, yes? Yeah, I've got all 6. I got all 6 done yesterday. Not with a photo etch. I only added the photo etch on one. I'm going to turn around and do the photo etch on all of them now. I just wanted to check to see how durable it was on those little protectors of the headlamp protectors, and I didn't want to put them all together and then they fall off on me when I'm dry brushing them. So I think we'll be okay. I still wish they were a little thicker, but I didn't really design them. But I was just reading an account this morning while I was eating my breakfast. These things did terrible in Operation Crusader. They got, in like 3 days, they're like done for. They show up with like 50 tanks and they're down to just having to combine regiments because they're just destroyed in no time. Due to, breakdowns, misuse, using them in ways they shouldn't have been used without infantry support, etc. Extremely prone to breakdowns. I'm going to leave one without the sand shields on. And I may decide to put the sand shields on it as well. I just don't see any photographic evidence I've looked at 40 pictures of them and I haven't seen one without sand shields. I've seen one with a half sand shields, but that's the original version of the Crusader, of which there's still a queue kicking around, but it's got different road wheels and all kinds of stuff, so it's not exactly the same vehicle. Okay, so this one's completely complete. All right, so let's go ahead and do. What's this? Just a piece of plastic. What type that participated? Were these the type that participated in the assault on Burl Gubi? Yes. You mean the one against Ariete? Yeah. Yeah. And their first engagement where they didn't do well. That's probably the engagement that they didn't do the worst. Of all their engagement, that's probably the one that went the best. At least they knocked out some enemy tanks. But these guys rolled in and took over the airfield originally at the beginning of the battle. And then they got counterattacked. And that's when things started going sideways for them. It seems to me like it was the PaK-38s that were really screwing them. I mean, obviously, 88s will destroy anything, but 88s aren't all over the place. 88s are only in select units. Yeah, against the ITIs, yep. Yep, that was 22nd Armored Brigade. All right, what different things do we need on here? I don't remember. We needed, we got to be really careful with this. Because I ended up getting some glue on this, and luckily it wasn't a disaster. I just don't like anything that creates more work for myself. .50mm is a good gun. Even the short 50, here I go again, I'm compounding the problem. Even the 50L42 was better than the 2-pounder by a smidge. But these guys were just between being unreliable and being able to be hurt by everything. but they look good while doing it. You gotta be careful, these things get away from you. I cut a fourth one. No, it'll turn up. Oh, there it is. It was semi-attached. All right. It's funny, I got to add them here on the photo print, but Chad's prints would already have all these on them already. Your mileage may vary. Some people are sadistic. And what I mean by sadistic is there's some people that claim that they don't want to build a quality kit like a Tamiya kit because they're too easy to put together. Not a sign of a good modeler. Okay, well, have fun with that vacuum form kit, asshole. You know? Somebody needs to be in quality control department somewhere. Like, I don't like working here. Things are going too smooth. Like, if somebody gave you the model, but you paid for it, so why would you pay for something that's shitty? Here's one. And this photo etch is great compared to the skiff photo etch. The skiff photo etch, it's like somebody really missed the boat on that one. They can't cut it like this. So I started watching at lunchtime what happened between after Crusader on Tick's video, but I didn't get a chance to. I watched a video and a half. I guess this video was like 20 minutes long. I was able to watch like one and a half. I think it's going to take me a little bit of time to iron out exactly which unit I want these to be of. Or maybe I'll want them to be from a couple different units. I don't know. Oh, and I had the fourth one right here, and now it's gone again. Like, freaking gremlins, man. Well, that's why you have extras. It'll turn up. Let's see if we can cut it all the way from the get-go. Yep. No, the 11th Hussars are flying over the pond right now. We'll see when they get here. Those are just going to be an overall What do you call that stuff? Light stone. Now, we're going to grab one of these. We've got to be careful where we put this shit. I'm going to put it over here on the left-hand side. It's unlikely anything will happen to it on the left-hand side. And I'm going to grab one of them, if I can. I'm going to hold the top right at that spot where there's a little break in it. And I'm going to bend it ever so slightly. And I'm going to dip it in this. Just the bottom end. And then I'm going to come over here. Put it where it needs to go. And that worked a lot better than putting a little glue drop here. Okay. Like I said, don't make any plans. You don't know how long, I have no idea how long this is going to take. You could pick it up with the moistness of your hand. Uh-oh, I used the M word. My daughter's friends was here the other day, and she's the one that doesn't like that word. And when she was getting ready to leave, I said, "May the moist be with you." And she's like, "Oh." Hey, not my fault you're broken and that word freaks you out. And then we'll do the same thing over on this side. I think I'm going to go with a cloud pattern for your Grant and Gonzala. I need to figure out if it will be for the 1st or 7th Armored Division. More were in the 7th. Yeah, the 1st doesn't seem to be in any of the places that I'm super interested in. Although I like the symbol a lot. I mean, the rhino is pretty cool. I got no problem with the symbol. Yeah, so it took about an hour to do each one of these, not including photo etch. Why is this getting pulled off? Come on. The struggle is real. Is it magnetic or some shit like that? What's going on here? I'll clean that in a second. I don't think there was anything on here, but maybe the photo etch is so soft that I was putting pressure on it. I was like crimping it slightly. Who knows? These things have been with me a long time. Since Reagan was president. Good morning, Ben. Free bentos. Crazy. Other tanks in the squadron, Hormel and Libby. All after tin stuff. Never heard of Frey bentos before. We have a quick service chain Pan-Asian restaurant there in town called Bentos, but not the Frey part. And yet that one was no problem. Okay. We do all the turrets first. All right, I got one left here. I'm going to leave it on there. Yeah, that one was here. Well, that's why they give you extras. And I think I'm pretty careful, so, and I still have mistakes. So, there's a lot of folks struggling with this shit, I can tell you that. I got all the tools and the glues and you managed to actually look through the micromark list. I got one has each day's complement of tanks for each regiment in the 7th. The 7th Armored. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the infantry tank stuff. But the Matildas are going to be for the 8th RTR. Did I say Matildas? I said meant Valentines. The Valentines, and one of them is going to be in counter and one of them is not. I tell you what, those people that decided to paint the counter in the museum in light blue really did a disservice to everybody. Because as soon as you put counter, it's not in light blue. Everybody goes, "Hey, how come they're not light blue?" Because they weren't light blue. I never realized how controversial British tanks were. There's one coating, and there's the other coating. Three Bento's names owned by Baxter's of Speyside, and they produce the pies at their factory in, oh, I don't know how to say that, Fauconbers in Scotland. For example, 38 Stuarts and 25 Crusaders from 22nd Armored Brigade were handed to the 4th Armored Brigade on December 1st. That's cool stuff. Does he have the list of what all the tanks were named? Meat pies. Aren't there some weird tasting meat pies or whatever? Kidney pie. Is that made with kidney meat? And does kidney meat taste like liver? In that it's irony. Iron tasting. You know, it's ferrous. It's ferrous in taste. If so, I'm not eating. I'm not a picky eater, but I don't like eating ferrous meats. Like, I'm fine not eating meat. If that's what meat's gonna taste like, I'm good with the vegetables, dude. Not sure he has that, but he might be able to look into it. Micromark lists are available on War Games Vault. Does that mean I can get them immediately? Let's see here. Here comes the rabbit hole. What rabbit hole morning? I don't care, man. We don't have an agenda of getting this done by a certain time. War Games Vault, okay. I bought several things through there. Micromark. Isn't this the same guy that does... No, I'm thinking of somebody else. The Latzinger collection or something like that. Those things weren't very useful to me. Micromark lists Crusader. British 7th Armored Division, September, December 1941. Crusader. 15th Panzer Division. Oh, okay, well, we got German shit here. Too. Let's click on this 7th Armored one. Well, fuck, it's only $1.89. Okay, we're gonna have to. I don't mind spending $10 on those, and I think $10 I can get more than enough for what I need. Okay. I don't have to write that down. I'll remember that. I'm definitely gonna look into that. Mark Bevis, who does the list, is a friend and a regular at our local War Games club. Does he is he a good painter or he's just an info nerd burglar? Steak and kidney pies. Kidney is a bit smoother texture wise than liver. But what's it taste like? I had a bad experience. I don't know about a bad experience. I decided to go to a brunch one time, probably 10 years ago, and I ordered something I never order, which was steak and eggs. And the steak I got was a cut that was too close to the liver, and I couldn't eat it. I mean, I could eat it if I had to, but it got sent back. I'm not eating that fair. I'm not eating ferrous meat. Sorry. telling you, I got 2 days in London and I plan on eating fish and chips only. I think that's pretty safe. Oh man. Love the Conquerors. Hold up, chappie. I have the 2-bit Crusader list to pass on the info to you if you let me know when you're looking for. He paints 2 commissions and the list are his job. Oh, wow. House has a 10 by 6 foot table too. No, bullshit. You guys have to use metric. No, you're not allowed to use feet anymore. You ruined it. You threw in with Napoleon. 10-foot table and has another 6x4 in the basement. Dude lives a life, man. Well, good for him. I'm glad. I'm glad somebody gets to live that life because I've seen some people that have some great war game setups, and I'm not going to complain. I think this room is stellar. I've seen other places that look more impressive, but my lighting is like incredible. So, and I got you guys too. You know, I don't want to be doing this shit by myself. Like that's like freaking boring. Everybody in my big game group, they basically don't paint. So, anything that involves anything creative, they basically don't do it. Well, anybody can roll dice. Some people can even keep them on the table. But these tanks got absolutely torn up. In 2 or 3 days of fighting, they were hosed. Between teething problems, unreliability, and just catching fire from, it seemed like everybody could do damage to them. And I don't know how many packs out there were pack 36s. I've got some pack 36s from Hat to do with Desert Crewmen. And then a couple of these units ended up getting replaced towards the end of the Operation Crusader with all Stewards. So they went from Crusaders and got replaced to Stewards. Some of the ones in the 22nd. It's a shame because it's a beautiful tank. But this photo etch actually cleans up pretty well. Much better than that skiff stuff. And it's a shame because the skiff ones, they want you to do weird shit. They'll give you like a straight bar. It'll be like a piece of photo etch, it's just like this. And then you're supposed to turn it into a tube. Like a tube that's long. Like a flat tube, maybe something shaped like this that's supposed to go on the fender, but they give it to you in one big piece. So like, not only do you have to try to bend it, but you have to try to glue it, and you have to bend it in the right proportions. I'm like, okay, I'm I'm not ready for that right now. I'm sure I'll be able to handle it one day, but I just wasn't in the mindset for that. All for T26 that's going to last no time on the tabletop. By the way, that site you found before with those magazines on had a few of the micromark list too. The site, kidney has less of a taste than liver and normally uses a meat for building out pie fillings. I used to get fried liver and onions as a kid, not had it for decades. I'm if I don't want to eat something, it's really weird. Like I grew up like you had to eat everything on your plate, and I didn't get served extremely weird things, but my stepmom's mom made beef tongue, and other than seeing it how it comes out of the package, which is scarring, it actually tasted just fine, and it didn't taste like a weird meat. Um, but I don't like the taste of liver. I'm actually not grossed out by liver. I just don't like the taste of it. Um, the same way I don't like the taste of lamb. So, but yet if you put lamb and what's the thing that the Greeks have that they do the blend with the I can't think of it right now. I haven't had enough fingers of coffee. Anyways, that stuff I love. Euros. As long as it's not too gamey. I actually like Euros a lot. So that site before with those magazines on had a few of the micromark list too. What site with the magazines? What magazine site? You know, I hear micromark, and isn't there a retailer that sells like things like this called Micromark? And I used to get their catalog. I think they're called Micromark. I haven't ordered anything from them, but I bet if you look up Micromark, that's what you get. I was looking at somebody's reply to something, and the other day on a hobby something, and they said, "Oh yeah, I used God's hand something or another." What the hell is God's hand? Some cutting device or exacto type thing called God's hand. I'm like, I guess they were out of names that day. How many of these have we done? One? Don't make any fucking plans. TH website with a scenario. MagWeb. Oh man, I don't remember how to get. I don't remember. Oh, they use a Wayback Machine. That's already too much trouble. I was like, fuck it, I'll just pay $2. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to find out, like, for instance, okay, talking about really anal retentive. I'm going to build my tanks for the 15th Panzer Division. So I'd want to know, like, in the first battalion of the first battalion of the 15th Panzer Division. So I'd want to know, second company, like how many tanks were Panzer 3Gs, and what were they named? Which ones? I can't find that stuff. I'm gonna have to invent something, and it doesn't matter as long as you think about it before, use all the information, and then make a decision. Like let's say I wanted to do these guys for that unit that has all of them starting with F. You know, I'm not going to do Frey Bentos, I'm not going to do Fly Flapper, and I'm not going to do Formidable. Although Formidable is a good name. That's one of those British battlecruiser names, and I got a soft spot for British ships because they have cool names like that. They have positive adjectives. You know, they don't name their ships candy ass. They name their, you know, the ship may be a candy ass, but they don't name it candy ass. They name it, you know, I'm gonna, you know, kick you so hard your mom's teeth are gonna fall out kind of names, you know? Like, you know, ones that promote badassness, you know? Good adjectives, you know. So I always like those. Of course, you know, you got to be careful because, you know, karma can strike you down when you use things that are, you know, really powerful, like, you know, invincible, like, oh, screw you, we're going to make you blow up, you know, things like that. But I like positive stuff, you know, like C Company, Fantastic. Wish we could release the long-awaited World War II and Cold War rules. Been in a constant flux of development like 40 years at this point. Won't dissuade you from paying. Mark's a nice chap and really does a good service for the hobby. Yeah, we'll just pay him. We'll buy one. See if it gets me where I need to go. See if it, you know, because I'm putting together a document. I'm not going to sell it or anything. It's not going to be pro level, but it'll be better than a lot of the stuff that you see on there. And there's some things I don't enjoy doing. And there's some things that I do enjoy doing. And I don't mind doing the things I enjoy doing. Like looking into this stuff, I find that enjoyable. You know, it opens the pores in your brain. Some stuff like, you know, writing out the rules that you want, like that's not enjoyable. You know. There was going back about 10 years. 10 years? About 10 years. When the previous set of rules I played split. The group that was putting together the other set of rules, before they went and created their own modification of the rules and sold it to people. They're like, well, we want to make this document that involves, you know, line items and what changes that they made based on another set of rules. I'm like, well, that shit doesn't interest me. Well, we said we were going to do it. Well, you fucking do it because that's like something I'm not interested in doing. You know, I mean, if you're going to make a new document that people are going to, you know, there's nothing worse than putting a lot of effort in something and it still not provide clarity. Like, I'm famous for at work having a conversation with people. This is what we're going to do. Call them up. This is what we're going to do. Cool. And then send them an email that's really clear that outlines exactly what is going to happen on what day and what is happening with each delivery to eliminate other emails about the same bullshit. If you're going to go through all that work and it's still going to create more bullshit, like why even do it? So anything that doesn't solve problems, I'm not interested in doing it. Yeah, the problem with rules is it's like, you know, if you look at a set of rules of World War II, like, okay, what scale is it? It might not be a scale you're interested in. Or maybe it doesn't use the right dice mechanisms. Or like one guy's, you know, like it's a good set of rules, but one side's sitting on their fanny the whole time. I'm sorry, on your bum. Sitting on your fanny is something else. Over there. My problem with a lot of World War II set of rules is just it makes some part of the combined arms thing not very fun to play. And it's usually infantry. It's like a rapid fire scale game, which, other than 1-to-1, that would be my favorite scale game to play. But then infantry is just too generic. It doesn't matter whether you're using British or German infantry; they all behave the same way, and it's like it doesn't provide enough of a narrative and interest in it. And that's just because it's a little too zoomed out for my taste. But I've played those games before, and and felt empty. Yeah, like blog. Like I don't mind doing these videos. I don't mind going off on a tangent where I'm looking stuff up for you guys. I don't mind doing any of that stuff. But I don't want to like write in a blog because I tried it and then I have no idea of, you know, if it was something that I found enjoyment in writing things down, it's different. But I don't. I hate writing things down because it just seems really tedious. Maybe it's my mom that did me a disservice by making me write sentences. I just, as soon as I catch a whiff that anything is busy work, I'm like, I'm fucking out. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And with a blog, you don't know who the hell's read it. I need some interaction that this is doing somebody some good before I keep going it because it's not something that I'm doing for myself. The document I'm doing for, the markings and stuff of Operation Crusader is something that I'm doing for myself anyways. But writing stuff in a blog isn't for me. That would be for everybody else. And if I'm not getting any feedback on, if you got 100 people that look at it and only one comments, that's like, it's just kind of hard to explain. Like, let's say you guys don't come in and interact with me like you're doing. Other than the fact I'm getting bored, I don't mind doing it because I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this so that I can stay on track and I don't, think about something different and look that up instead of, accomplishing hobby-wise stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if stuff I'm definitely doing for somebody else, I'm going to need to get the response that I feel like it should require, or I'm going to stop doing it. That's why I don't do requests on videos. Hey, you should do a video about this. Hey, you do, because the next thing all right, let me stop what I'm doing, what I need to do for something for somebody else, which I don't mind doing it, and then like nobody watches it. Like, well, why did I even bother doing this? And it's like these people that make these videos, and they have like one coming out every other day on how to get more views, how to get more subscribers, how to do all that stuff. And one of the ones that they're consistently, not that I've really watched any of them, but I see them all the time. They come up on my feed. And one of the things that when I have looked at it, one of the things that they chime in is that they said, do what you do. And if people want to watch it, they watch it. And if they don't, you're still doing what you're doing. Don't go out and, make special videos with Mitch and his feet. Just to get viewers. Hijo de puta. You guys all know what that is. Ha! There was no glue on it either. Makes sense to me. I like the way. Yeah, exactly. You know, it was like when I was doing DBA stuff, right? I'd have several people would contact me. Hey, I like your DBA videos. Are you anywhere near Tampa? Or are you anywhere near Orlando? Well, as a matter of fact, we have a convention twice a year in Orlando. Come by and we'll show you, Mitch and I will show you all the tricks. Oh, cool. I live in Orlando. I'll see you then. You'd never see them. Ever. Ever. And then you'd hear from them after the convention. They always had an excuse. And I get it. Real stuff happens. But I lose a lot of faith in people when they say they're going to do something and they don't. And do I do it occasionally? It probably happens. And I'm upset about it. And I'm not afraid of telling you that I'm upset about it. I get upset if I said, hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. and something happens, I oversleep or something, and I can't make it. It's happened maybe once or twice, and I'm upset. I'm not a sales weasel that promises one thing and does something different, because there's enough of those faulty folks in the world that it pisses me off. So, I'd rather do other things like not mince my words. you know I want to choose the faults I have, and that's not one of them. Now, it's really annoying when you're trying to plan on how to play test a game, and then okay, well, we're going to do this, and then somebody says, well, they're going to show up, and then all right, so you cater everything to them showing up, and then they don't, and it's like, dude, all you had to do, why does everything come up like every other time you're here? Like, I'm like, I'd rather just not even game with people if that's how it's going to be, And I'm not talking about Mitch. I'm talking to everybody but Mitch. Mitch is extremely reliable. He's got many faults, but that's not one of them. You have many faults? Let's just say he has faults. We all have faults. That's not one of them. And it drives me. But I had a friend of mine that I think pretty highly of, but he kept saying, "Hey, let me know when there's this event happening." It wasn't game related, but when this is, I'll go with you. And I think like 3 years in a row, I told him about it, and he always couldn't make it. I just stopped inviting him. I'm like, at some point, you know, how's that saying that I had another friend of mine that used to say the saying. I like you for who you are, not the stories that you tell. You know, it just gets old. I mean, what use is somebody that you can't count on? Seriously, what use is someone that says one thing and doesn't, humor, irony, um, way to give you a bad impression of the rest of the humankind? I don't know. I mean, I just don't see that there's any value in that. But a lot of people are that way, and a lot of people make really good salesmen. I would not make one. Actually, I'd probably make a good deal. I'd probably be a very good salesman if I believed in the product. Well, I don't feel anybody full of shit. Then you can't keep track of who you told what. He also has a really informative book on Napoleonic era Middle Eastern and North African armies called Tangiers to Tehran. Huh. Yeah, if you look at Micromark, that's what's going to come up. I actually like that. I like this War Games Vault because you get it immediately, and there's just something that's worth a lot to me. You know, not like, where is it? Where's the damn 11th Hussars? They're flying over the Atlantic right now. Those bloody bastards, you know. Um, Micromark. Hey, you look up Micromark. That's what you're going to get. Micromark small tools. 30% off. I don't need anything. I don't, you know. Magnetic gluing jig. So, I don't know. Hopefully, I didn't offend any of you guys, and you're one of those people. Be a better person. Don't do that to people. You know, I had a conversation with someone yesterday. They couldn't believe that I wasn't going to play DBA again. I said, I fucking told you I'm not playing DBA again. And the more I say it, the less I'm going to, you know, the less I'm going to do it. I guess the only way I'd play DBA again is if somebody held a gun to my head and I knew I couldn't get it from them, and it was either that or play DBA. I guess I'd play DBA, but I'd throw the game or make something, you know. I wouldn't play it legit. Like, no, I say I am I am an integrity driven person. It's important to me. That's why I have no trouble falling asleep at night. That's why I hate. I say, you know, I'll be honest with you. I hate saying that because it makes it sound like I'm not being honest all the time. Yeah, I make mistakes and sometimes I misspeak because my brain is going faster or slower than my mouth, but it's unintentional. Let me go do another line of Coke. I'll be right back. Not another line. I haven't done one today. And by I mean I have a container. So I don't know if I told you this or you were on here when I talked about it yesterday. I think I talked about it yesterday or the day before. But I had a conversation with, I had a back and forth with Chad. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, we were going back and forth. And he said he had told the War Games 3D people about the length of the barrel of the Matilda, and apparently they fixed it. And something else that was like off. Like I'm not sitting there scrutinizing, but when you look at something like something doesn't look right. You know, like the height of the turrets on the Panzer threes from Classic Soldier Company, they're off. Their turrets are just they're shaping weird. You know, Panzer three is a really attractive, well balanced looking vehicle, and when it looks out of balance, something's wrong. You know. So then I mentioned in passing, I'm like, well, you know, it sure would be nice if somebody made a such and such. And he's like, well, I can ask them to make it. And it was an I wish somebody made an A13 Mark IV-A. So that is the latest version of the A13 that was the most common one in the desert. And somebody does make one, but they don't make an A. This SS model. It's funny. I hate the way this thing looks. I don't hate the way this thing looks, but I'm going to repaint this thing. So this is my SS model. So the difference is should be a Beza on the A instead of it being the Vickers. But that's the most common version. And nobody makes one. Nobody makes one on 1/72nd scale. You'd have to buy the S model A13 and buy the Dan Taylor conversion kit. And the Dan Taylor conversion kit for one tank costs, I don't know, 12 pounds, 13 pounds, 14 pounds, something like that, plus shipping. And that's just cost prohibitive. You know, I don't mind doing this stuff. Like, I mean, this is like kind of anal retentive doing all this stuff. I could do it. It just, I don't think that's a good value, especially if I want a half dozen of them for a scenario. I didn't design the scenario, man. I could just use other tanks, but you know, I feel like I'm not reenacting then. But so I said, you know, it'd be nice if somebody made one of them, and I think all they got to do, because I got the A13 Mark III from them. All they got to do is just modify the front. And then I realized, oh shit, that's not Wargame 3D. That's from Averne. And then he said, yeah, that guy wants to do what he does, but he had already at that point I guess emailed Wargame 3D to see if they'd do it. And they offered to do it for him. I said to send him some pictures. So I sent him several schematics and photographs and stuff, and the instructions from one of the model companies. I mean, one of the model companies is incredible. I'm like, you know, it can't get any better than that. So we'll see what happens with it. I don't know if there's a time frame on it, but shit, I'll order 4 of them for sure. So I think I'm putting in my second chat order the tail end of next week. I'm on the fence on 2 vehicles. All right, talk to me. Let's talk vehicles. Spit it out. I'll tell you what I think. Careful, does this make me look fat? Don't ask me that. Yeah, need an A13 Mark IV-A. Need a Marmon Harrington Mark II also. Like, why doesn't everybody have a Marmon Harrington Mark II? So, I'm going to take the Matildas that I have. I'm just going to cut the barrel down. It doesn't bother me. Like, I don't need to use Chad Miracles. Like, you know, there may only be a certain number of those. You know, it's kind of like, you know, using favors to me is like, what is that stuff called? The tungsten capped AP rounds. Like, you've got very few of those. Like, you need to save those for when you really need them, you know? You know, I don't want to be a pain in the ass. You know, a pain in the ass, but like, I don't deal with that Tony guy anymore. He demands too much of me. It's your hobby too, man. You gotta make it work for both people. The people don't understand that about businesses, you know. If you have a customer that's too much of a pain in the ass, you're eventually like, man, I hope something happens to that guy so I don't have to deal with him anymore. there's a guy that's a pain in the ass to deal with playing DBA. I don't play DBA. I don't deal with that guy anymore. The two in question are a US M8 and a Dorchester. Both are from Laverne. So why are you on the fence about it? If the M8 is anything like the M10 that I have, I mean, I have ordered from four of those different designers from Chad, and other than the fact that Kulan has a shitload of extra options, they are all of the same quality. They're all of the same quality. And occasionally you get one vehicle that has those little like marks that happen on in an angle. You know, instead of it being like smooth, it's stepped, and I don't know why that happens, and it's so it happens so infrequent that it's not an issue for me. Actually, found a free version online. Well, I don't mind paying for it, but I don't want to pay for it and it doesn't have the amount of detail that it needs. I didn't know you were out gophering stuff for me. Well, that's good. I don't mind giving him the money, especially if he's a nice guy. Now, if he's a communist, fuck him. You don't believe in money. I gotta try sanding down some of those petting house decals and see how that works. I'd be surprised if that actually works, but I'm a skeptic. Is this the last one? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Yep. Oh, I missed the message before that. Why? Do I have it turned on something different? Oh, I want them. I would just make a purchase of 8 models versus 6. I want them. I would just make a purchase of 8 models versus 6. Need to pace myself. Yeah, I don't want to get too much stuff because I'll lose interest. I know that doesn't make any sense for some of you, but it does for me. Like I gotta have something to look forward to that I don't have yet. And if that's too far away, I'll be like, you missed my message before that one. What did I do? What have I done? Oh, the message didn't post. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't use that kind of colorful language. It blocks things automatically. I've got it where, you guys know how to behave. I don't need to monitor you. You're adults, I think. You're as much of an adult as I am. We're adults compared to the Australopithecines that we share this world with. I asked if you'd heard of a book called Historical Study Small Unit Actions During the German Campaign. So I got a couple of books. And I got these. I haven't read them worth a shit. I'm going to pull them out. And I think this is what you're talking about. I don't know who the hell they're by. I'm going to say they're by Nafziger. And they're not really very useful. No, it's not those two books. It's these books. And I've had these forever. Soviet Infantry Tactics in World War II. which can just be summed up with, get liquored up and run at them. Red Army Infantry Tactics Squad, the rifle company from Combat Regulations. Charles C. Sharp. German Squad Tactics in World War II by Matthew Gachovsky. But a lot of this is theory. I don't give a shit about theory. I'm not a theory guy. And remember, you got to put all that in context of the game you're playing. Like, okay, it's time for that rifleman's to come up. Well, I don't know. The theory says I can't go until the machine gunner steps forward. Like, fuck that shit. It's time to move, Oh, so you found a free copy of that. Yeah, it sounds like something I've heard of before. Those two books I pulled out, I've probably had those 25 years. And it's just some stuff just doesn't rip. Boy, you jumping Mexican jelly bean. Is Mexican food prominent in the in Britain? Sent you a link to the free one. Looks like it might have some scenario bait. Scenario bait. You're gonna send me to the Russian front. Let's see what we got. Scenario bait. No, it's not loading. What up with that? All right, we're going to copy and we're going to go there. Okay, pamphlet. Small unit actions during German campaign in Russia by General Major Burkhard Müller-Hillebrand, General Major Helmut Reinhardt, and others. Let's see, Yep, this has scenario ideas. Thank you. Yep. How'd you find that? You surfing joker. Company G struggles against overwhelming odds. I'm looking at the stuff over here on the side. Company G annihilates a Russian elite unit. Armor. The Armored Roadblock, June 1941. That's got to be that KV-1 where it just stands there and... Yep. Oh, this has a lot of detail, this stuff. Okay, awesome. Man, you get the gold star today. See, this is the kind of shit that I'm going to read on the plane until I fall asleep. I hope I can fall asleep on that Virgin Atlantic flight. I'm borderline terrified of air travel. I just don't like the steel bird. And have some scotch and medications, and at least I don't get airsick. I don't get any kind of motion sickness. It's just terror. So I definitely need some stuff to read. That's excellent. Well, I mentioned it the other day. When I'm done with the desert, I'm going to go to Russia in the snow. Mainly for the challenge of doing snow vehicles. So we're going to go Wintergewitter. We're going to do some 6th Panzer Division tanks, and I still got some T-34s that I haven't done yet, and we'll snow them up. It's not mega common here, but we do have Mexican food on some restaurant menus. We're starting to get Taco Bell here. That's not Mexican food. Don't eat that. Please don't eat that. Someone sent me a link to a book on Vietnam small unit tactics, and I looked on eBay and that came up. To celebrate major Soviet holidays, Russian sharpshooters usually tried to break the standing marksmanship scores. On those occasions, German soldiers had to be particularly on the alert. What the hell's a Soviet holiday? May Day, Stalin's birthday, Lenin's birthday. Celebrating the day that Stalin sent the 5 millionth person of his own people to the Gulag. That's the true signs of a real asshole. When you have a dictator and they send their own people to go get killed or be tortured. And you have somebody like Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was a terrible guy. Well, he didn't send people, well, he may have, but I don't think that there's any documentation. He didn't send like his own Greeks to go like murder like 1 million of his own Greeks or Macedonians. Like, that's a sign of a real asshole. I see that if, it's, you could be a warmonger and, but that's just, there's different levels of it. That's why I hate the Carthaginians so much. Because they sacrifice their own children. Like, first you're hurting kids. Second of all, you're hurting your own kids. I'm like, if you're not going to stand up for your own kids, who the hell's going to do it? The Romans are going to miraculously come here. It's like, oh, we're going to save all the Carthaginian children from the Carthaginian parents that are murdering them, sacrificing. Like, no, that's a sign of a real asshole. So murdering your own people. Like, you're like helping the enemy, man. That's like what the enemy would be doing. Not been impressed with my experience with Taco Bell so far. Soggy stuff. The local Tex-Mex does better. I like Taco Bell style food if my wife makes it. If somebody else makes it outside, I'm wondering what the hell's in the ground beef. Like, it's just too weird. It's just too weird. It's too wet. What am I eating here? And those tacos, Taco Bell tacos used to be like 49 cents each. Not that long ago. I don't know. They're probably a couple bucks now. Like, it's not worth, that's food you eat when, after you go to a bar or something like that and it's open till 2 in the morning or later. Taco hell. And it's not real Mexican food. It's pretend Tex-Mex food, and it's bad Tex-Mex food. They should make an Indian restaurant that's that style with a Taco Bell model. What would they call it? Turbyland or something. We went to an authentic Indian restaurant a couple of years ago here in town that had really good reviews. And I personally like, well, all three of us like Indian food. I looked at the menu that was supposedly in English. I didn't know what the fuck I was ordering. I'm like, no pictures. I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. What kind of meat comes with this? Does it even come with meat? I felt like I was in a foreign land. We didn't go back. I'd stay away from Taco Bell. Then there's a Tim Hortons around the corner from it, so they can have my moolah instead. Canadian food. Isn't that like Canadian Perkins? Tim Horton? Which, that's not a compliment, being Canadian Perkins. Yeah, I don't like eating certain things in public. Chili, meatloaf, you know. That's how you get fingered at Wendy's. You order their chili. What's this floating in the chili? Oh, man. I don't need to fail my morale check when I'm having food. So when I go to the UK, I'm just going to stick to lemon curd and fish and chips. Actually, I've never had lemon curd, but I can't imagine disliking it. Unless it's like too rich, which it may be. And cheese, right? You guys, that's where the cheddar comes from. That's my favorite cheese. You know, if you can only have one cheese the rest of your life, cheddar. Easy. Easy choice. It's good on everything. There's an Indian style chain in the UK, Chai Wala, that does street food and is brunch style dishes. Chai Wala, Chai Wala. Speaking of Indians, from India, the early war miniatures make swappable heads, and they have 3 Indian heads. I assume that all of the heads have the same face on them. You know, regardless of whether or not they have a steel pot helmet or whatever they happen to have. But they have, I think, at least 3 different head things. So I'm wondering if I was going to do some Indian figures. Are there certain units that would have only certain ones? I mean, yeah, you got the Sikhs and they have like 3 different heads. Rajputana or something like that. I don't know. Although I don't think I've ever seen a picture of an Indian trooper in the Second World War with a helmet on. I mean, I know the Sikhs had different colors. They don't use white. Theirs are usually what, black or blue or something like that. Okay, that's done. Now the really unpleasant part. I'm not looking forward to this. Let's get rid of all these mini turrets. Should be 5 of these. And now we got a drill, baby, drill. At some point, I like to try early war miniatures Those are on your list. Did I say before that you wouldn't try it? I mean, I'd try it, but if it tastes funny, you know. You guys eat some stuff we don't eat here. I'm sure we eat lots of stuff you wouldn't eat. Weird meats, man. Like I like meat, but if it tastes funny, I'm not eating it. Because that and a pork pie would be high on the agenda. I'm sure we'll share one at some point. I'm not going to England for the food. Sorry. I'd go to Canada for the food. I mean, the food in Canada may suck, but where we went, it's the best food I've ever eaten in my entire life. And that's impressive. Oh, look, I found the little bugger. Okay. So, drill, baby, drill. I'm not going to use the drill. We're going to just put the spots here where hopefully this photo etch can grab a purchase on it. Now that it seems like this stuff's durable enough, I just want to keep away from the edge because I do have this removable. Now, all of these are not, none of these are glued on purpose because it's going to be so much easier to get in there. I mean, none of it's, when I go to prime this, I'm pulling all this off. I'm priming this, and I'm going to prime the back, and it just, and then when I go to paint, I probably will paint with it on there. But the priming part is a pain in the ass. To have something all the way hidden in a recess, it's a lighter color than something up front. They should just make every model molded in black. Done. Let's not get carried away. Let's do one at a time. And we're going to try to save a step and trim these up on here. So we know we need to do this. That one's in a fixed position, and this one's in a fixed position. And this is about the same height as that one. Man, it's so wafer thin. That's the one we're going to cut off last, right? I don't know what brass material this is made out of, but it's excellent because it's not super resilient. When it's just a pain in the butt to cut with a blade. I'm not going to England for the food. I'm not going to France for the smells. I don't have a problem going to France. I'm just not going to go there first. And the only fact that I'm setting foot on England before I set foot on Spain is because You know, the flights are a third the price. It was super expensive to fly directly to Spain. It's almost like they don't want us to come back. Oh, I'm not even gonna go look for it. It's on the floor somewhere. That's why they give you extras. Oh, cut the wrong one. Bloody hell. Right. So let's get it in place. Let's bend this. Check that it's okay. Bend it again. Check that it's okay. It's okay. Dip both little ends in it. I should have put it on this side. Work towards myself. Let's put a little bit more in it than that. And these things are flat, so I guess in that respect it helps. Allowing them to grab. All right, and do the same thing with the other one. Yeah, that kind of detail, that tactical detail of battles, that's what I want. But I want that for everybody. I don't want to be just like, oh, it's all German centric shit. Like, you know, I get it that the Germans wrote a bunch of stuff down, or maybe they, you know, they did more than that because they're like, man, we got to make sure we don't get treated like prisoners of war. So we're going to help the Americans, like, you know, fight the commies. But I just don't want to read German stuff that's just full of propaganda. You know, that's definitely full of propaganda. Like Rudel's book. I was on a group the other day. I read Rudel's book. I think I read the whole damn thing when I was younger. And then I found out, oh, he's like a card carrying Nazi that drinks milk. Like somehow that makes me respect him more. Like, oh, he doesn't drink alcohol. Yeah, you're a fucking Nazi. You're an unashamed. It's not like you're defending the fatherland. It's like, you believe in that shit. Like, I don't care what you have any. I don't care what you have to say. A bloody Nazi. And he like helped like some of those escape guys in South America. I'm like, you can't be helping Dr. Mengele. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care what your excuse is. All right, guys, got to go run some errands, beat the crowds. All right, man. Be well. Such is life in the city. You know, it's okay to not like a group of people. It's not okay to exterminate a group of people you never even met. Like, that's just messed up. There's lots of groups of people that I don't like. I don't like the people that go through grocery stores and talk on their phone and let the entire world hear their entire conversation. I'm sure that happens in the UK. Like, have some bloody privacy. Okay, we're not going to mess with these things today. Give them some time to percolate. And I might actually do something like, maybe not with that, like put a little bit more. The problem is this thing is really, really small. Okay. Although I do need to watch Tick's video. I could probably just listen to it while I'm doing some other stuff. He's got some video that I think it said Churchill was an idiot or something like that. I'm like, well, I gotta see that. I mean, I'm not a Churchill hater. I'm not a Churchill fan. But that just sounds like something crazy. Like, sounds interesting. I need to get into that. I actually haven't. I've seen quite a few of his videos. I haven't seen all of them by any stretch of the imagination. He's got a lot of them out there. I need to work my way through them, though. Some people don't like his controversial opinions. I don't know. I think that I haven't watched all his videos, but it seems to me like the most controversial thing I've heard him say And maybe it's controversial because it's just kind of outside the box, but he seems to defend Hitler's intelligence more than anybody else I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that he's a Hitler worshiper. I'm just saying that he's one of those that he's not as much of an idiot as people think that he is. And that's just from the video, and that's just kind of a unique kind of perspective. So, and I'm not going to read Mein Kampf or none of that bullshit. So, but that starts falling too much into the political stuff, and I don't really care about the politics of the Second World War. I'm interested in tactics and skirmishes and shit like that. Turret markings. Okay, there's the 4 of the next one. And this is slow going. It's a good thing I don't have any plans. Well, it's too cold actually for me to spray. I need to prime one of these. I need to prime one of the Marmon Harringtons. One of the Marmon Harringtons. How about the one that I have? I really wanted to get 2, but I had to do some compromising. All right. I can't take it anymore. Let's see what we got here. I gotta save this. And the problem with the phone is I can bookmark this, and I don't know how to access favorite pages. Well, I do when I'm there, but I don't know how the hell I get to favorite pages. Collections. Yeah, there's some things that are easier on the phone, and there's some things that aren't. All right, so let's go to Micromark. Oh, War Games Vault, sorry. Which I always get mixed up with Drive-Thru RPG. I guess they're in cahoots with each other, aren't they? German Kampfgruppe Walther Neerpelt Bridgehead, 17th of September 1944. That must have been somewhere in Market Garden. Micromark. Crusader. No results. Well, how the hell did I find it last time? Let's see, if I click on this, Micromark Army List, there we go. Finish 8th Infantry Division. Well, there's gotta be some kind of sorting. They're one and the same. They even merged libraries for some purchase at some point. Yeah, well, their logo at the top is definitely looks the same. Micromark List. How do I search this? How do I search his list? Crap, now I'm out of it again. Micro Mark Lists Africa. There's got to be a better way to search for this. So say I click on this, go to the Micromark list. Okay, first of all, is this in desktop mode? It's not. Okay. Micromark. That's not how you spell micro. You fat-fingered fuck. Okay. Notes archive list. This includes notes on army layout, artillery fire control. Let's use something we don't normally use. Click on the top left and view his desktop. Make searching. Yeah, I wish this would always default to desktop. I got a big phone. Okay, Micromark. Sort method. Here we go. Armies of the New World Order. No, World War II. Turkish. World War II British. I got a lot of stuff on the British. A lot of stuff on the British. So let's see what they got about the DAC. German Panzer II Lux unit. 4345 all theaters. This is some interesting shit. I mean, I could spend a lifetime on here. How? I mean, how do I find this? Sort method. World War II Germans. Back. Instead of going through what 7 or 8 pages of this stuff. Now it got big. I don't want it big. I can read the small one. I'd like to see more different things at once. All right, I'm going to go back to your link that you sent me. Ready for the Battle of Berlin coming soon. A new range of Russian 4440. Kino Plana Mayor. I love his figures, but man, they're freaking. It's difficult to order from Spain. Oh, that's not the one. Sorry. No, never mind. That didn't help. 41st, 9th Panzer Division, 16th Panzer Division. I don't care about Operation Barbarossa right now. 11th Panzer Division, June, July 1941. Yeah, that would be exciting, but not right this second. Skip to page number. Okay, you sent me a message. What's the message? Here we go. And how were you able to find it? What did you use for searching that? Your links aren't working. So what I can do is I can go here, or at least hold on. Let's go here. No, I can't. It's not taking me there. Let's try this. It's not working. It's stuff that would work on my computer, on my phone. Um, let's do this. German 15th. Oh, space. 15. Oh my god, it's like I'm retarded or something. And I can't click on your link. It won't take me there. I don't know why. I don't have anything blocked on my phone. Let's go copy. Let's do it this way. It's not allowing me to do that either. Copy. Let's go over here. G459, okay. This is what I hate about technology. And I'm really good at searching for stuff, but the phone is just. Let's go back to War Games Vault. G459, G459. Okay. Details tank strength of different dates and other divisional losses in December 41. And G482. I better write that down. Add to cart. Check out. Why are you freaking out, man? It's immediately like priming. We'll try one of these. This should have the correct information. Otherwise, it's not going to. There's no point in getting others. Yes, complete purchase for the love of God. Okay, download this mother. Holy fuck. Okay, I'll be buying all this shit. I don't know if he invented this shit, okay? Or who he had to blow to get this information. But this is incredibly, holy shit, this is incredibly valuable. Okay. Oh my God. All Panzer IIIs have 50L42. Well, that's a no-brainer. All Panzer II-Cs are up armored. 20 centimeter, I hate saying that. 20 millimeter, 37 millimeter, 50 millimeter guns have about 6 rounds of Panzergranat 40 APCR rounds each. 75 millimeter infantry gun has 6 rounds of heat. I'm gonna roll with it. I don't know if this guy knows what he's talking. I don't know where he just invented some of this stuff, but this is incredible. This is like I'm gonna have a hard time keeping this in my pants. This is incredible. Now, it does not tell me. For instance, if I looked at the 1st Battalion, 1st Light Panzer Company, it says there's 2 platoons of 3Gs, 1 platoon with 4Gs and a 3J, and 1 platoon with 2 Cs and a 3 and 1 3G. It doesn't tell me which platoon has which one. So I'm going to have to invent that, but that's okay. That's a pretty good invention. So like for instance, this 4th Medium Panzer Company that has the 4 Es, it tells me 4 of them were in 1 platoon, but it doesn't tell me which platoon. That won't matter because they'll still have every one of these vehicles in the Medium Panzer Company will have a 4 on its vehicle. And 2 Matilda 2s. Holy shit. Okay, you guys, thank you very, very much. We're going to be we're going to retire. We're going to be making that guy be able to retire. He's probably already retired. I don't know. Wow. Well, I'm really impressed. I'm really, 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 really impressed. I'm really impressed. Wow. He will have a source for everything. I said I can just see if he puts you in touch more esoteric things you might want to ask. Yeah, send me a link to him. Yeah, I don't mind paying him for stuff. I don't want people doing shit for free. I mean, I'm not, nobody needs to be my bitch, I'm not 5'2". Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, we're not going back. We're not going back to medievals and ancients. Fuck that shit. We ain't got time for that. Yeah. Try one. They're brief documents. That's the kind of detail I want, man. That's exactly the kind of detail I want. Because I don't want to just make generic stuff, I mean, I can, but it's not. It doesn't excite me to make generic things. If I want another one, I'll go buy another one of them. That's incredible. Wow, I'm in shock. I'm in complete shock. Wow, that's crazy. It's so crazy. I'm out of whack on this. Well, those platoons, those companies, they were going to have the big number anyways on the turret, but I want a small number on it that can isolate which one it is. So when their turn comes up, man. So he's a even bigger unit nerd than me. That's crazy. I'm in complete shock. Wow. Remember the days when you had to send mail order to get the list, pre-internet. He has lists sort of like that for some 19th century armies. Well, I just figured it was like the Nafzger shit. And I don't need to know at different points in the battle. I can kind of isolate stuff, but I'm seriously impressed. I'm seriously impressed. You know, I'm probably going to spend about $20 with them today. If I get enough time, now now I know what to do when there's people around here that I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with. Like, oh, I'll just be surfing on my phone, getting lists. Wow, I'm that makes that some of those books I got basically worthless because that's the kind of stuff I want to get out of them. That's crazy. Well, it looks like I'll be redoing the markings on all my German vehicles. Wow. That must have been a really early 3J. The 3J, what do they call them? J1s. Somebody referred to them as that. The ones with the short 50, the short 50. I need to stop calling that. The ones with the L42. Somebody was calling them. I saw them listed as J1s, maybe on a model kit. And the ones with the long 50s, which is what you normally associate them with, is the J2s. Only problem now is that it takes ages to check my Wargames Vault library before ordering to make sure I don't duplicate an order. Well, it's just a bloody pound. See, you can make a living researching wargame information. Need to go threaten your bosses with more holidays, or else you'll start selling PDFs on Panzer numbering. Well, the problem is I have to move to the UK, and because you guys have you have medical at no additional cost. I can't do that here, so I got to give up my guns. Oh, you wait. You guys don't take immigrants from places that don't cause trouble. Oh man. Wow. Well, I'm floored, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get over that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get over that. I won't even tell my wife about it. She'll think I'm stupid. Well, I am, but that's beside the point. I could spend a lot worse things. There's a lot worse ways to spend $2. Your mom was an immigrant here. She ended up getting deported, though. That's right. So she's the American one, huh? Oh no, where did you go? You some bitch. Oh, here you go. Here's another one. You. I'm gonna go over there and train you guys how to drive on the correct side of the road. I bet you guys are going to be curious because I'm going to do it after my trip. I mean, assuming I get to go. After my trip of what I liked and didn't and disliked, and I'm I'm really curious to see what I'm going to like better. I'm sure there'll be something. The drinking age for my daughter, for one thing. Stupid Puritans here. Not that that means a hill of beans, but you know, what's the problem with sharing a pint between three people? Like, you know, we're not there to get drunk. Stupid ass Puritans. So I put them up in Massachusetts. So that's why you call those people massholes. Okay, well we got 2 tanks done of that. Wow, it's just crazy. She didn't do anything bad. She just stayed outside the UK too long, and when she came back, they were unsympathetic. They they harumphed at her. Well, there's one of the accounts, and I'm trying to think where I read it. Oh, it was in the Panzertruppen book. One of the commanders of one of the battalions, or even the Panzer Regiment commander, ended up finding himself in the middle of like a jock column or something like that. And I know what kind of a vehicle. I don't necessarily want to make a. I don't want to make so and so's personal vehicle. You know, I want to be a little bit more vague than that. Like that's not what he was wearing on that day. You know, that kind of shit. You know. I guess I should probably use. I should probably use these. And just finish this thing off. Or those tarps weren't tied in that manner on his vehicle. You know, one of them. You know how those people are. Okay, we're done with that one. We got another one over here. I don't know how you can build models with carpet because I went and vacuumed this, and there's all kinds of little bits and of this tan stuff everywhere. And you know you're never going to find it if you got carpet. Okay, there's the 4 for this vehicle. For the next one. Wouldn't let her back in the country because it had been too many weeks since she's had a crumpet. Well, we got that global entry thing, but I don't think that helps. I've read that it doesn't help you in other countries. That's a shame because, man, that's a breeze. You go in, you go, doop, doop, and you're done. Like, they don't ask you any questions, which would just be a waste of time for me. That's another food stuff you must have when you're here. And some scones with jam and clotted cream. You gotta sell it different other than clotted. You know, clotted is not a good adjective. What did he die from? His cream got clotted. You know, scones. I've had scones here. They're you know, that should be safe to have there. I need to just have like random outbursts in Britain, like mind the gap. We'll get on with it. Hey, you guys promote it on your programming. Did that just happen? Did I just pull down this thing? God. Wow. Wow. Well, I can make some guesstimations. Like, this second light Panzer company, one platoon's got 5 3Gs, one's got 4 3Gs and the 3J, and one has 4 Panzer 2Cs, one Panzer 3G. So if I was going to build that one, they would have a 2 on every vehicle, okay? And if they had a smaller number, the second number wouldn't be bigger than a 3. It'd be 1, 2, or 3 because it's the first, second, or the third platoon. And I'm just going to assume that they're going to be top to bottom in that order. I may be wrong, but. So if I wanted to do a 2C in there, it would be numbered 2, 3. I would imagine that the Panzer 3 is the first unit. So the Panzer 3 would be 231, and the other Panzer 2Cs would be 232, 233, and 234. Just using common sense. Divisional 33rd Reconnaissance Battalion. Armored Car Company. A Command 263. A radio section. A heavy platoon. Half of them with antennas, half of them without. Two light platoons, four SDKFZ 221s and four SDKFZ 222s. So it looks like there's 50-50 mix. KFZ 69 trucks. What the hell's a KFZ? I don't know my KFZ thing. It's KFZ 69. Is that a Krupprotz? It is. I don't think that. Okay, so here, if I wanted to do this AT platoon, part of this support company, it's got three Pack 36s and a squeeze bore 28 millimeter pulled by five trucks that are Krupprotz ones. Interesting. An AT company consists of three Pack 36s, pulled by Krupprotz's or SDKFZ 10s. Hey, I know somebody who has one of those. And then one platoon that has two Pack 38s and a Pack 37. And then one platoon that has three Pack 38s. Interesting. So they're groups of three. Panzer Pioneer Battalion has a Panzer Pioneer Company of a Panzer 1A. A Panzer 1A. Oh, interesting. That's super interesting. That's super interesting. Look, just eat your fill here before Spain tried to feed you bullocks. Yeah, we're not eating those things. Or maggot infested goat cheese. Yeah, we're not. I like goat cheese, but I'm not eating head cheese. I'm not eating bullocks. No. Or cow bullocks either. Huh? I won't have any cow bullocks just to be safe. No. Not eating any rabbit. I know they eat that in Spain. I'm not Spanish. I'm American. I actually don't expect to be impressed with the food anywhere. It's better to be that way. The problem is every really good meal you've had makes other meals you have after that hard to compare to. Canada was the exception. Those jokers freaking blew it out of the park. So, or at least the part of Canada that we went to. The places that we went to in the part of Canada that we went to. There we go. Because there's like good food in New York, but we didn't go to, when we went to New York, we didn't go to any of those places. Everywhere we went, it was substandard. All right. Two more of these bloody things. Is a Panzer 1A a gun tank or an explosive vehicle? So, I know that in North Africa, they made a flamethrower Panzer 1. They only made like 14 of them or something like that. And that might be one of them. That mate, oh man. Poopy diaper. Oh, you guys use bidets over there, don't you? I need to watch a video on how to do that. They give you a communal towel everybody has to use. Not good. Although going to the bathroom in public is a problem in Europe because you guys like charge for the bathroom. And I don't need to go number two ever in public. Thank goodness. My body's not programmed that way. I only need to do that from the comfort of where I'm spending the night. I mean, unless there's something wrong with my, system. Okay, here is the four for this one. Well, this super glue has stayed alive for a long time. I'm sure I poured that thing out over 30 minutes ago and it's still wet. Well, I'm gonna have to get the list on the seventh armored as well. Let's see if it tells me who's got what type of Marmon Harrington. Oh, sons of bitches! Got ahead of myself. I'll put the Marmon Harringtons in the right one. That's an astounding amount of detail, though. I don't know how he has access to that information. That's fine. Good for him. I don't need to know. You guys see him tell him, this mother is impressed right here. Oh, he's just a buddy American. We're not all created the same. In the land of equals, we're not all created the same. Oh man, how are we doing? Oh, we're out of beverage. I'll be right back. That's crazy. I'm still flabbergasted. Yeah, I got that one over there I started with. Well, I'll have to wait now. Yeah, this next week is going to be really weird for me. We have a full day on Monday, but it's going to be weird. Like, it's like light. And we're actually doing stuff that ships out on the 2nd. Because nobody wants anything next week. And then the 24th will go in, but man, it's nothing really happening on that day. And then I'm off the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st. Not until the 2nd, with nothing that I have to do. So we're going to be looking through some of those details and taking notes. And that's great. That's perfect timing because, you know, I was afraid of, numbering them a certain way and then finding other information. I don't think I'm going to find more specific stuff than that. And all that information is going to come with me to Russia. And you go to Russia, I'll relabel my German tanks. I don't give a shit. I'll redo them. I got a black line most of them anyways. So, question is, what kind of information does he have on our Soviets? Because those jokers are famous for not writing stuff down. That ought to be real interesting. It's got to be a better way to search for stuff, though. I'll have to search for it on the computer. There's a couple of those MDF. There's lots of MDF stuff out there that's really inexpensive. That's probably when I go to Russia. What I'll do is I'll probably get some of those little MDF buildings and have to work them so that the roof all comes out because the insides are important. Today's the coldest day all week, though. It's going to be warmer and warmer every day. So, like, it's in the 50s right now. And then by the time it gets to Christmas, I think the high on Christmas is 75 degrees. Like, that sucks. Whoa, Nelly. Last one. Now. Yeah, it's a lot harder after 24 hours. So we're not gonna mess with any of these that we put it on today. There's two here. I'm gonna go ahead and use those up. Yeah, the photo etch that's on the dragon and the photo etch that's on the skiff are super difficult to deal with. So I know that the 11th Hussars aren't going to have names, so we'll have to put some kind of a Mark Bevis. Let's see where the damn 11th Hussars are traveling. The tracking from this has been terrible though. Like it's just vague as hell. Tracking available. Arrives Friday the 20th. It didn't arrive. Through Thursday the 26th. That doesn't matter if it's after Christmas. We have flight liftoff. I don't know who the hell this Pitney Bowes is, but they don't have good. It took them a long time to go to the whatever whatchamacallit place. They don't have any tracking info on this. Departed from airport. That was day before yesterday. Pitney Bowes sounds like some kind of investment banker. So I'm actually going to go ahead and stop for this morning once I get these last two things on here. I got an invite to do a Zoom call later, and I'm gonna see if I can get that set up on my computer. Or not. If it doesn't work, then I'm just walking away from it. I don't do this hobby to get frustrated. Make sure this fits on here. And I didn't glue the side skirts on one of these Crusaders, but it's more than likely it's going to end up having them on there. Well, this is. We'll leave this one on the turret. This is the one that's cured overnight some. So, anyhow, hobby related Zoom call. Yeah, supposedly from our model meeting, a armor group or something. We'll see. I'm probably going to be like half the age anybody there. So, just noticed that Toy Soldier Nostalgia has posted another of his epic unboxing video. There's a guy that I'm subscribed to, and here we go again with you. I'll be honest with you. Yes, because I've been lying to you all along. I don't think I've watched a single one of his videos, but he does this like every day. He has some huge eBay unboxing. Like, I mean, the guys must be like wealthy or something like that. I mean, I think I get enough stuff, and like he's getting, and I'm not jealous or anything. I'm like, man, I don't want that much stuff. It's like overwhelming. But he's got like another eBay unboxing, and Toy Nostalgia has posted others. Okay, that's the guy that has the. Yeah, I like that guy. He's very positive. He has a positive demeanor. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a store where there's 1/32 scale figures wrapped though. That's like before my time. Well before my time. So. But anyhow, we'll see you guys later this weekend. Like I said, I'm going to prime this, and I'm going to prime the Marmon Harrington. We're going to attempt, if it's not too much of a pain in the ass, to make a painting video on this. Not necessarily for you guys, because you guys watch this. But for the other nerd burglars that can't, I can't watch your live feeds. Okay, whatever. This one will just be in plain sand, and the other one's going to be in counter. So we're going to do this one first, because it's, easier to do. Yeah, we'll go from there. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for that micro mark thing. That's going to keep me salivating for a while. And